Everyone will see the next topic, that is the basic security to be implemented in the network attached storage. So as we know that it is open to multiple exploits, it is which is including the virus, the worms, unauthorized access, snooping and data tampering. So all these threats are being available for the network attached storage, so we need to increase the security. So how is it being provided is, one is the access control list, the second one is providing the permissions, the third one is authentication, authorization, Kerberos and network firewalls. Now we will be studying all these security mechanisms in detail. The first one is access control list. So the network attached storage is providing the two types of the access control list. The first one is the discretionary access control list and the second one is system access control list. In the discretionary, it is going to determine what access controls to be provided, and when the access controls are being given, in that one, if the access control is given and it has to be audited, so that is being provided by the system access control list, right, under the Windows access control list. Next one is the permissions. So when the permissions, when I'm been saying, then it is it is understood that it is for your Unix operating system. As you know that for the Unix operating system, the particular user ID is being created, and based on that one, the user is given the permissions. Now when I say here the user, it can be anything. It can be a person, it can be a person, it can be system operation, or even the device also, which is going to have a particular user ID. So based on this one, they are being grouped into either a group of one or the group of more members. In this one again, whenever we are grouping them or we are giving the access to the user, it is called as the ownership relation. And when each and every owner is having the three permissions, and three bits are used to define them. The first one is the read bit, the second one is the write bit, and the third one is the execution bit. So it is a read, a write and execute. Based on this one, as I have already said, it is having the group, which is a combination of the owner. It can be the directly a person, or it can be a owner, or it can be all the three. So total, if I take three members are been there, and each of them are given 3 bits for the access, so total it goes for the 9 bits. So 9 bits are used to represent the permission. So the first one goes, the first 3 bits goes for the owner, the next 3 bits go for the group, and the last bit goes for the all. So in this one, in this example, you can see is the first for the owner, all the permissions are given, read, write and execute. But for the group, it is only given for the read and the execute, he cannot write it. And for all, when the permission is given, it is again only read and the execute. Moving on to the next one is authentication and authorization. Now you can check in this figure, as network attached storage, it is providing for both the operating system. One is for the Unix operating system, in the Unix operating system, and for the Windows. So it is providing the access for both the networks, and it is using the protocols such as network file system, it is using the network file system NFS, and it is also using CIFS, which is called as common internet file system protocols, to share the data. Now you can check that whenever it is used by the Unix operating system, then NIS, that is network information system server, is been there, which is authenticating the Unix clients. And when it is for the Windows, then it is using the user security identifier. So these all permissions are validated in the device, and the access is given to this. So based on this one, they are able to use the devices, they are able to use the files, and they are able to share the data. But the problem what happens is, here in this one, as it is providing the usage for the multiple operating system on the single device, then the problem with the security or the data integrity will be the problem, because they can be sharing for both the devices, right? So moving on to the next one is a Kerberos. As all you people know that a Kerberos is a network authentication protocol which has been designed for strong authentication for both the client and the server, and it is using the secret key cryptography. Now you can check in this figure where we have been having the client and the server. The server here is acting as the KDC, which is called as the key distribution center. The client, whenever he wants to establish the communication, he is going to log in into the system and he is going to send his details to the key distribution center, and the key distribution center is going to verify that person, and he is going to send, or he is going to respond for the user request with the TGT. Now what is this TGT? Is a ticket granting ticket, which is having a encrypted session key. That means for the time being where the client is going to access the server, for that whole period or that session, the key is being given and it is having the validity. That means it can be having for 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hours based on the KDC being provided. Meanwhile, the KDC is the client is again going to send back the TGT along with the server name with whom he want to establish the connection. Now the KDC is going to check along with the active directories that the server name, right, which he's been requesting, is the permissions given for that client or no. If the permission is not being given, then straight away the key distribution center is going to deny his request. If it is been there, then he is going to reply with the ticket granting ticket for that one, and the connection is being established between the client and the device. Now you can check in this one, the Kerberos, the client is going to send that a ticket to the NAS device, and the NAS device is going to decrypt that one, and the session is being established, so he can exchange the data, and the client and the server exchange of the data is been taking place, and they are able to track. And in this one whole session, whatever is been the activity is being carried out by the client, what files he is been using and all, so those are all being reported, the report is being maintained, and the files are being kept intact, and that same session ID is being again transferred. All these informations are being maintained so that again we can track if anything goes wrong, the Kerberos is going to point out with that one, and whole client activity is being recorded with the help of the Kerberos. So Kerberos is providing the a very good opportunity to exchange the data between the client and the server in a very encrypted way. Now for this one, if I have to say is, you log in onto the particular website, and you are been using that one with the help of the OTP, you are going to log in into that one, that session ID is being there, and you are being given for that, the website will be active for you people until and unless you log out. And sometimes if you are not using the particular website for more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, then automatically it is going to shut down, and you get the message that the timeout of the session. That means the user is not been there, so another attacker might spoof into the system, so they are providing you the session time within which you can perform the activities. So this is how the Kerberos is providing the security. Now please don't get confused, where is this Kerberos? The Kerberos is inbuilt within the operating system. The next one is the network layer firewalls. So these network layer firewalls, as everyone knows that the firewall is going to block the packets, it is going to block the devices which are not being used whenever the data transfer takes place. Now you can check in this one, we have the external network through which the request comes to the organization, and there are the firewalls. If in case there is an anomalous activity, then the firewall is not going to allow such packets to enter. If it is a authorized user, then in this one it is going to make sure a demilitarized zone is being created, where the user is going to access the data from the application server. He is not allowed to directly enter into the organization internal network. So though the client feels that he is accessing the internal network, but it has not been there. Whatever is been there, it is through the application server, and another extra firewall is being provided between the application server and the internal network. So if in case after the attacker is trying to, even if attacker intrude into the application server, he will not be allowed to get into the internal network, because the second firewall is going to be much more stronger than compared to the first one. So this was all about the network attached storage, how they are going to implement the security mechanisms. So they are using the network layers, they are using the Kerberos session, they are using the authentication and authorization based on the different operating system. They have been providing the access control list and the Unix permission. So please don't forget to mention all these points. Thank you.